with 4 screaming kids. It was exciting.
And that is how we start
Boom. Get it started.
season 4. A little late, but that's okay. Welcoming to the show, Naturally Gnar, Bobby Parker.
What's up?
Bobby,
How you
what's
doing, dude?
happening, man?
Not too bad. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Pretty good.
If you get a little closer to this microphone, the microphone loves you, and the people are here to hear you, not hear us.
How's that? Better?
It's good. It's
Awesome.
super good. But yeah, dude, thanks for coming out. Sorry the drive was so long.
Oh, no. It's gorgeous. It's a good time of year to drive around out here.
Yeah, for sure. Ripple in the house,
What's up?
co-hosting,
Always.
chilling out. He's broke. You want to show the people your foot? Can you show them? Can you get your foot up in the mix?
Maybe I might. I got a sock on it, but
Ew,
yeah.
Oh, man.
gross.
Well, shit happens. You got to pay to play, right?
That's right.
That's what I hear anyways.
Yeah, so maybe Better Biking needs to coach Scott over here.
Yeah, aren't you certified in sport? Safe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there we
Safe
go.
sport,
That was
Yeah,
one thing that
safe sport.
we were curious about what the
is
definition of that is.
Safe sport?
Yeah, like what?
It's basically, it's kind of like a certification that coaches have like when they deal with youth athletes.
Mhm.
So you kind of, it's more like athlete abuse, not prevention, but like how to notify the signs of, you know, if athlete might be getting abused outside of practice, or like the proper ways to, like what channels to go down to, I guess, submit when you see something like that happens. Like,
Sure.
I don't know, kind of the dark side of, you know, the
Got it.
diddling of the children's and all that sort of stuff. It
Yeah.
tells you like how to handle that, who to go to, who is legally obligated, all that good stuff.
For sure.
But it's basically like, now that I've been certified in it, like I don't think I would want to ever have my kids like coaching, have coaches that aren't somehow certified through it, because it's
Really? Why is that?
I mean, like, I don't know, like Roblox and all that stuff that's going on right now with like all sexual predators and all that sort
Oh
of
yeah.
stuff. It's
I
like,
mean,
that's
you
serious
did
stuff.
mention diddling children, and I was like, oh man, that might get us a strike.
So, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
that's
No, there was something in the news at a Rogers Middle School.
I did
No
just see
way.
that, yeah.
Really?
And
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
read. I just saw the headline, but it
Oh
was,
jeez.
Yeah, he was
Situation.
doing the predator
He was-
thing in
he was being-
Wisconsin
he
with
was being
kids,
a
and he's
diddler.
teaching kids and all kinds of stuff. But I mean, you know,
yeah, that stuff
That's
isn't
what
cool,
happens
so.
when you
it's-
diddle.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think Diddy kind of like he really nailed that one. Like we're gonna have that one forever now. The diddler.
Yeah, the diddler. Oh man, the baby oil memes.
Oh man,
pretty funny.
Forever.
it's rough. It's
Insane.
rough.
But
But yeah. So yeah, to start it off, I do want to kind of introduce you to our audience because you're new to this area. How long ago was it that you moved to Northwest Arkansas?
I guess we're a little bit over like 3.5 years or so now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We moved up here from Austin, Texas. My wife we actually came here on a trip Memorial Day weekend of 2020. It was our wedding anniversary, and came through. We knew about the place. I'd kind of had my finger on the pulse as far as like, oh, there's some cool mountain bike stuff. And
Right.
I like, all right, you know, we'll go check it out. Came and saw a buddy that was here. And basically on the drive here, she was like, I think we should move there. And I basically called her. I remember where we were on the highway. And I'm like, you are crazy. Like, that's not happening. Because we both come from like a small town in the Midwest. And
Okay. What town?
Burlington, Iowa. It's like a southeast
Oh
Iowa.
wow. That
Okay.
It sounds like it's like out in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, we're the big town for all the small towns where we grew up, because we had like the Applebee's and the shopping mall and the movie theater sort of thing, you know.
Oh
okay.
right. You
So
were the
we-
spot. It was
yeah.
the town to be.
It's like a Russellville or something.
Right,
maybe.
But
right.
we were in Austin, where it was like awesome to live, and
Oh
all
yeah,
the
it's
riding
fun
was
there.
there.
It's a lot
and
of fun there.
I kind of come from BMX also, so there's endless spots for BMX there. And
Oh yeah.
but when we came up here, my direction device is obviously a good one. But so it ended up sending us this wild way through town, and we ended up.
Oh right. Did you print maps to get
We
there?
didn't actually print on that one.
Okay.
But yeah, so we ended up coming through Slaughter Pen right after a refresh on All American, and
Okay.
like the amount of people that were out and the amount of kids that were out,
Yeah,
like literally my first
yeah.
like 5 to 10 minutes of being exposed to Bentonville, I was just like, man, like what in the hell is going on? Like there's just so many people out riding, and there were herds of kids that didn't have adults, and you know, like where we lived in Austin, I couldn't just tell my kid like
to go cruise.
Yeah, go play in the neighborhood.
Totally.
It would have been sketchy, and we didn't live in a sketchy area. Even it's just you just kind of don't do
You
that.
just don't
down
do
there.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, we were here for a little bit, and then funny enough, with our wedding anniversary, we had one of those like wind up cameras, and
yeah.
The very last spot we were at was the Jones Center pump track, and I did a little fast plant on the backside of one of the berms for just like a souvenir picture, and my wife's like, "Oh, I didn't wind the camera, go again," and so I went again, and I got smoked. Like,
no,
totally
That's awesome.
classic scenario. But I ended up lacerating my spleen and broke my orbital.
Whoa!
So I was in the hospital for an additional like 5 days on our trip, and it was kind of in the middle of COVID, so she couldn't be in the hospital with me.
Oh wow!
I was in
Hospital
like
COVID
ICU.
times.
It was like
Yeah.
kind of like solitary confinement sort of deal, you know. But so I got to stay there, and I kind of grilled all the people that
Like
were
what?
working there, like, you know, where did you come from? What do you think about this place? And just kind of was able to do that. She was able to go out and experience the area, like not the, you know, all these bike stuff is so cool, and like, you know, kind of be able
That's
to experience the
interesting,
normal
dude.
side of things.
But
And
That's
else?
so
Yeah, but,
interesting.
you know.
so yeah, after that it was like I think we should do it, and yeah, we made it happen.
Yeah.
How long were you in Austin as opposed to Burlington when you
So
moved?
yeah, we grew up. Kind of funny enough too, I didn't meet my wife until we were like 19, but our town is super small. She lived probably like 3 miles away from me, but she went to a different high school than I did. She went to like the smaller high school. I went to the main public high school, and we lived in Burlington until like 2021, and then I moved to Iowa City, Iowa, which was kind of the younger happening.
Oh, that's like a
spot.
more poppin' area, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's college town.
It's just kind of like Fayetteville vibes, but in Iowa basically. And
Okay.
so we lived there for about 7 years, and then that's when I got my first job in the BMX industry in upstate New York. Lived there for a couple years. Then,
What were you doing with that job?
I did like sales rep stuff basically. It's kind of all of my industry jobs. So it was Blackout Distribution, which is Kink BMX.
Oh yeah.
Which they're now like
Yeah.
Kink and Cinema and Mission. They have all these in-house brands too. But so worked there for a few years, and then pulled down to Austin. That's kind of like the BMX mecca, and
Right.
Sunday and Odyssey
Sunday,
opened up
yeah,
a distro
yeah.
down there, and kind of just right place at the right time, talking to the right dude, and which is Jim Solinsky. He's awesome dude, awesome BMXer.
Yeah.
And got me down there, and so we lived there 2010, 2014. We had our baby first son, and that's when we moved back to Iowa to just kind of be with family. And then we were like, we got to get out of here. And then that's when we moved back to Austin. And
When you get a taste of like a little more stuff, then you're like, you want to find a balance somehow.
for sure.
Yeah.
And it's
I grew up in Sacramento, so like coming out here in 2003, and because I lived here for 9 years, had a skateboard shop, was into skateboarding. That's how I met him. That's how we started Gnarkansas back then. And going back to Sacramento, and then my daughter came back here, so we were coming out to visit too. So I kind of feel where you're coming from.
I feel like a lot of people do like a bit of a taste tester in this area, because when you hear Arkansas, there's just this taboo that
100%,
that
dude.
people
Like, where
get.
is it?
What
first
is
of
that,
all?
right?
Yeah.
What corner of the state or of the country are you trying to take us?
Yeah.
You know, and then you just got to make sure that people are wearing shoes, that there's not snakes in all of the water.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, but I mean, when you got me into mountain biking in San Diego, and that's kind of where I started, and then coming out here to visit my daughter, it was like when I left here, there was no mountain, but they were just starting. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
The Greenway.
What year?
From, like,
What year was
Fayetteville.
that?
2011. is when I left.
Yeah.
And then so coming back here to visit and bringing my mountain bike, I was like, oh my gosh,
So
this place
different.
is gnar. Like,
Yeah.
it's like crazy. So
Which it's cool, because I was kind of like, I was digging into your stuff, and I noticed that like you were riding mountain bike well before you had kind of discovered Northwest Arkansas. I always kind of saw you as a BMX dude.
Me too.
Like
yeah.
you like ooze BMX vibe. I hope you know that.
Thank you.
That was the intention.
I mean, I don't try to like put myself into a box, but like
No.
if we're in a bike shop and it's a bike shop party,
Yeah.
and there's BMXers
Dude, it's what
in
you
there,
come
that's where I'm
from.
gonna be.
It's what
Yeah.
you come
Right,
from,
right.
dude.
Yeah,
It's
can't
like
help it.
I'm a skateboarder at heart, and anytime I get on a mountain bike, I'm just a skateboarder on a mountain bike.
Mhm.
And I swear, like I watch you ride, and you're like, that's a BMX dude on a mountain bike. I take it
kinda
as
the
it's a
same
compliment. It's I
Yeah,
promise.
I
I
appreciate
promise.
it. I definitely appreciate it.
But yeah, no, I really just like you're like you shred BMX as well. Were you ever sponsored riding BMX?
No, never. Kind of came through the, when early 2000s, everybody kind of had their crews, and they're kind of like Gnarkansas.
Sure.
So I
Yeah.
had a homie, Mike, that he had a t-shirt company called No Future. That that was kind of the only like posse that I was somewhat affiliated with. And
Right.
then there were like where I come from in Iowa, it was called Team Iowa. So we had kind of all of the different crews that lived in all the different towns would come together.
I have actually heard of that.
Hell yeah.
Very very small, but like yeah.
So that's that was kind of like more just affiliated with crews, and I rode in contests every once in a while, but just more did it because it was awesome. Like when I lived in Iowa City, it was pretty much me. There was one guy that came one year. It's basically somebody would come to the university who would be a BMXer, and they'd either be there for
and you
like
guys
a
were the
semester.
scene.
Yeah,
Together, you guys were the scene.
There's actually I used to deliver pizzas. That's how I knew I was gonna be able to get here, dude.
Oh, right.
I will find it.
I will get there.
I delivered
dude.
pizzas, yeah, pre-cell phone, but I was on a
That's right.
pizza delivery run one day, and kind of saw a dude riding down the road, and he had an FBM Angel of Death, which that's from the era that like you could see a BMX frame
from a mile
silhouette.
away.
You could
Yeah.
tell what it was.
Yeah.
So you could just tell immediately like it was a legit dude
Oh,
on a
yeah.
legit bike, and
Oh
I
yeah.
100% looped around the block, and I pulled right up in front of him. I'm like, dude, like you ride, I ride.
You're like,
what's
we're
up?
friends now.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty much it. And then yeah, we were every day after that we'd
Yeah.
ride, and
That's
his
cool.
dorm was across the street from the skate park, so it was a brand new skate park at the time. So
Oh,
we'd ride the skate park until
dang.
dark, and then go and
New skate park vibes are something that like really light a scene.
mhm.
And I'm sure that probably that happened for you. Like, did you see more riders in your scene after that park came in? I'm curious.
No.
Dang it, dude. Dang
I think that this is a university vibe. It's real weird because
And a university?
yeah,
What is
we had
happening?
a pretty heavy skate scene, so there was decent skate stuff there.
Okay.
But just Iowa City itself was kind of like a pocket. Like Davenport was only 45 minutes to the east of Iowa City, and
Okay.
that's like standard BMX is from there,
Yeah.
and that's like where the huge kind of
okay.
scene was.
Okay.
And then the other way was Des Moines. Des Moines also always had like a pretty huge scene, and so
Right.
there's always dudes that would be coming around. And I mean, there's my homie Kevin McConnell. He was actually mountain biker first, and then we had this super gnarly barn ramp in Iowa City that the pizza guy who owned the pizza shop, it was his
Dope.
he just basically they had a set of trails, somebody got hurt, trails got shut down, he bought this property that had this barn, and so they just started building ramps. And
Oh, wow.
so my homie Kevin learned to ride there, and he would ride, but it was our schedules always conflicted, so there's probably always maybe 4 or 5 BMXer dudes that would be living in Iowa City, but it would be 1 to 2 at the skate park at most sessions.
Right. That's interesting to the dynamic, and it was probably it's because of what was in front of the guy, like
100%.
it's like I have trails, I ride mountain bike. Well, we have a skate park now. Probably gonna pick up a.
That's why I'm really I'm really stoked for the 8th Street skate park.
Yeah. I can't
Have you guys
wait
see
to-
it's actually it's not called a skate park anymore.
What?
No, really.
It's called a wheel sports garden.
Oh,
That's
shoot me, dude. Shoot me. Just end it
I,
now,
A
man.
I mean,
wheel
it's-
sports?
Dude,
wheel sports garden.
dude,
No.
that is ridiculous.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Bentonville.
I
Come
think
on.
it's just everywhere, but
It is, but come on. Like, let's
just call
not
it skate
be
park.
weird about this.
let's
You
just
know
call
what I
it skate
mean?
park.
It's like, well, because there's this like I have talked about this before, where it's like you have the word skate park infers that it's only for skate, right? But the bikes can't be there, and I swear that's some committee was talking one day.
I mean,
That
the
came
skateboard
up.
jihad and all of that. Like, I remember you guys were on the other side
Oh
of the
yeah,
fence when
for
I grew
sure.
up,
Yeah.
But
oh
that's,
yeah,
like,
but we were friends though. Like,
I mean, I was always. I was the one BMXer at a skate park full of skateboarders. You know?
Well, and yeah, so okay, yeah. Connecting with that, we have a common friend, Bramble Harrison.
hell yeah.
You know
Yeah,
Bramble.
Bramble.
Yeah,
Bramble
that's
shreds.
actually
Yeah.
how me and you first started talking. Was like, I don't even know. Was it you? Was it Did I reach out to you or did you reach out to me?
I hit you guys up about the DIY spot.
Oh, that's right.
That was in Fayetteville.
Yeah,
and just
that's
started
right.
talking about that, and then I don't know how it linked.
Somehow it
from
just
there.
came up.
Yeah.
Austin, Bramall.
Yeah.
Something.
Dude, Bramall shreds.
Bramall is So he was kind of like one of ours. Like we actually had a pretty decent BMX scene and still do have a BMX scene here, though be it small. The Bramall was just like our friend to the BMX scene. So like awesome. we just kind of like it was accepted somehow. Like the acceptance was just
at
there.
The skate park, he'd swap with somebody.
Yeah, he'd skate.
I'm gonna ride your board and you ride my bike.
And I'm sure you probably did something similar to that.
I learned how to drop in on the bowl, and there would be dudes that would try 180s on my bike.
On your bike,
they would call out lines for me, and
no, that's rad, dude.
I think it's your community is your community. And I think it's like it was probably all the crap that was portrayed in the magazines, and like you know that's what sells magazines. You know what
totally.
I mean? That's
like
what sells videos, and that's what sells t-shirts,
the controversy.
And for sure.
Bramall was solid on a board too.
Yeah, no, he would
he ripped.
He'd throw it out there.
Yeah,
not surprised.
I mean, dude, he would throw his body into a ramp, like charge it, just like how he does when he rides.
Yeah.
That dude is he's quick, man. He's quick on the bike.
But yeah, definitely am stoked though. I think I just actually was at a NICA race in Barling, which is kind of down by Fort Smith this last weekend.
Yeah.
So I went and checked out that Van Buren skate park.
Van Buren skate park is great.
Oh man, that one looks
it's great. It's really good.
The two bowls that are there are actual. Like I haven't rode an actual bowl in Arkansas since I've lived here.
The tile bowl in the back.
I guess I lied. Eureka Springs. I'll put that's a good bowl too.
It is a good bowl.
The tile bowl.
Yep.
Made me
very proper.
It made me happy to see it. It made me sad that I'm not
That's
as
good. I
know,
dude. Honestly, like that was my thing. Like a lot of my friends like skate there, and when I dropped in immediately, I was like, oh man, I haven't rode steep transition in a while. But we also a friend has a backyard pool here, Sedani at the Beaver Bowl, and it's a pool. It's a proper pool. It's not a bowl.
I've seen pictures and videos of that for sure.
So talk about steep transition.
Yeah, the transition.
Like, I don't think a bike would fit in there. Like it just physically doesn't like fit in the pool. Let's go. Sedani, we'll be there soon.
I'll put all the plastics on for it.
Yeah, let's do it, dude.
Yeah, I even I eyeballed up the carve over the stairs and that big bowl, and I had to walk away. I was just like,
oh yeah, and it's actually really doable. It's like the transition's really set up, and there's enough space and everything.
But yeah, I just think that was like a perfect example of like you don't need to have everything be crazy at a skate park to have it be good. Like the kind of street area,
it's very tame,
super cool. Had a lot of different lines. They had all those weird rocks that were
just random rocks just like sticking out of a thing.
It was
like
cool. I
love that. Yeah,
it makes it a little bit different. I mean, maybe a pole jam in the spot where the rock jam spot would maybe got more session, but I just think it gives me hope that the Bentonville one will be built by an actual skateboard construction company or skate park construction company or Wheel Sports Garden construction company or whatever.
I think
but just to make it legit thing, but I mean, did you guys go to the meetings? And that was also super cool. We all got our 3 stickers and was like, do you want
to place our cast our vote?
That's when I knew that the skate scene here was cool, because I was like, all right, it's all bowls and all transitions.
Our crew definitely had our votes heavy on like pool coping bowls and backyard pool stuff.
You don't get very many opportunities. It's like the Walker Park one. I wasn't here at the time, but I came right after it was pretty much built, and it was just like there was no say. The city's like, oh, we'll build it ourselves, and you're just like, oh man, it's gonna
and then they like actually had like city crew plus like subcontracted concrete dudes. Like that's what horrible.
The Iowa City Park was. It was built by a construction company that makes sidewalks and driveways, and it was a bunch of like young college age dudes, and I would go down there every day because I was so stoked that
you wanted it.
First cement skate park even that I was going to have as a local park, and I would go down, and the very first transition they poured was so wavy, and they were like, what do you think? They were so stoked, and I was.
They thought it was good.
Yeah, they were like, they made a ramp. They never built a ramp before.
They never made anything with transition, so they're just like, Look at this amazing
It
sculpture.
It's so ripply that after years of skateboarders riding it, the wheels of skateboarders that have gone up, you can see
the ripple. Yeah, that's so great.
I got Sam Parks on here saying, I want Bobby's hat.
What's up with the hat?
What's up with the hat?
This is the Griffin Loop airplane.
That is the
launch
airplane.
intention
Okay.
stuff he does. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
So we
it actually just looked wavy from my angle here. So
It did look. It does
He-
look like
he
a
hooked
paper
up.
airplane.
tripping. Yeah, it is a paper airplane.
Yep.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I didn't like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He actually I caught it was whatever the public radio station is down in Fayetteville. They had him on and talking about the
KUAF.
yes.
Yep.
They had a interview with him about the launch intention and about
Oh,
his
cool.
art, and I don't know if they saved that stuff on there, if you could find links to it, but I caught it randomly when I was in some traffic, and I was like,
Oh,
this is
that's
actually
great.
kind of cool. And,
That's great.
but
Right
he's
Yeah, KUF is a cool radio
decent.
station. Yeah.
But I think Griffin was he was an awesome dude to be in the scene here, because he kind of came as like an artist to the kind of area,
Yeah.
and not like a rider or anything like that.
Yeah.
He's had previous experience like running snowcats and building like snowboard terrain parks, and I don't know the exact dude. He made some stuff for some pretty spicy
some
dudes
big
in
stuff.
snowboarding, and
Yeah.
so he understands shapes and transitions, and I think kind of when he came here, he like immediately was able to recognize like there's not really any big jumps in this area, and he kind of
Put himself out there.
He tried to go through maybe some of the proper routes of, hey, can we do this to build some jumps, and just wasn't happening fast enough, and so he kind of did the classic like
I'll do it
just
myself.
myself totally. And so this would have been, I guess, Bike Fest 2 years ago when that first line was built.
Mhm.
Had, I think, 4 jumps total, but
Mhm.
it was a wild, just down the hill snake run. I have an Instagram video, like a POV run from it, and Anderson Benton Drones has some drone footage from it also.
Should we pull it up?
Man, it's going to be back there a ways.
I got it.
But it was basically he wanted to build big jumps to show that there are people here who can ride big jumps and people here that want big jumps, and try to show that coincidentally around that Bike Fest time, and try to get more athletes out there. And I think it definitely made an impact in the community, and then those waves kind of just kept rippling out, and eventually a dude from YT heard about the spot, and then obviously when they were making the Bentonville Mill and they were bringing all their athletes here to kind of film that Villains video, they wanted to have a kind of a legit spot, so that dude Justice Berry got Griffin linked up with the marketing guy Jimmy from YT.
Is this the one that this is kind of far down?
That would have been, that's the new line right there.
That's the new line.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
we might as well pop it up while we're here.
This is the new line. So this was the line that kind of YT commissioned for their riders in their video, and it had like kind of 3 big booters.
Mhm.
Right.
Same sort of deal. You're just smoking down like super fast down the hill.
It looks
And
so
then
fun, man.
That's like one of the most legit jumps in the Bentonville area that I definitely have been able to put tires on, and
Man,
it was awesome being able to just ride a steep lip and pull back. And,
right.
but so yeah, that was all kind of from his vision of like recognizing that, because it's like in the grand scheme of things, like I'm still just like a dude. Like I might be spicier than average, but I'm still just like a regular dude, and I can still jump all of that stuff. And there are multiple dudes who are just dudes also that can jump stuff like that. And
Sure.
Uh-huh.
I think that it's if you haven't been exposed to jumps like that before, and Bike Fest jumps are another perfect example.
Yeah.
Those are pretty, like, not to like say they're easy jumps, but because they're big and they're straight,
Yes.
they're
There's
pretty
nothing
easy to
it.
You hit the landing, you have speed. You jump in the air, you have a whole bunch of time to adjust for the big landing. Land on the big landing, you have speed for the next one. And so, but for people who haven't ever seen jumps before, those are big jumps, you know?
Yeah,
and
those
so
are
it's like,
huge to me.
oh man, those are massive, those are crazy. And it's like
But I do have a sense that they're probably not as hard as you think they are.
I think that doing that
just
drop,
intimidating.
that's probably the hardest
hardest
part
part,
of that line.
yeah.
Because the drop lands pretty
harsh.
kind of flat.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so it's to keep, because I know that on the mountain bike it's different rules, but like if you're hitting jumps on a BMX bike, or it's kind of like pushing in a bowl. If you push in a bowl on a skateboard, get out. That's
Get
flag
out.
on the
Yeah,
play.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Same with like drop in on some dirt jumps. if you drop
if you
in,
can't generate the speed
yeah,
yourself,
if you take a pedal, you might as well just peel off. And,
Right.
so
that's
so
good.
I would drop in.
I love that perspective, to be honest.
I mean, that's maybe just me, but I still I don't know. It's my
Well,
culture,
no, because I think I actually I like how you linked it with the pushing in the flat bottom of a bowl. However, I do have an exception to that. There was this so there's a skater, Sean Hale. He rides for Birdhouse, and he comes from this area. And one time, have you ever rode Canis?
I've seen that one, and I have not. It's on my list though.
Oh,
Okay,
I remember
so
that.
the bowl is like, it's a really big bowl. It's actually one of the oldest. It is the oldest bowl in the Midwest. I think it was poured in like the 70s.
No shit.
So
Wow.
a very big transition, very old transition.
Very
so if you
wavy.
think about
It's
how they were building stuff back then. So anyways, like we skate it, and it's kind of like a ritual every year for Canis Bash to like everybody's got to skate the bowl. There's got to be a bowl session.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of like commemorative kind of a thing. So like we one year Sean Hale was there, and everybody was he's such a good skater, but he never skated bowls like heavily, and he had to push to get speed at the bottom to like get up the transition. And I'll never forget it. I watched him push at the flat bottom, turn around, and come back and back nose blunt the deep end.
But
from a
he got-
push.
He
That's
got
awesome.
heckled hard for doing
he
that.
did.
But then came back.
But then came
around,
back. Everybody was
and
kind of looking at
everybody
him.
was like, what?
And they
was
had
the
that look that
funniest
you're
thing.
talking about, where it's like he's pushing on the flat bottom. How dare you? Get out of here! And then
Then he silences all the haters.
yeah,
dude.
nose
that
That's
was
back
so
nose
funny.
blunts the
It was
deep
the
end.
best.
Nobody's ever done it like at that point. Well, Binger might have done it. Anyways, I don't,
Anyways,
different
but
conversation. But yeah, I do love that, and I love when people learn how to generate speed from a pump. I think that's something in biking that we don't see a lot around here. Do you think so?
I definitely agree that a lot of people are clearing jumps based off of their speed and velocity, and not I don't want to say they're not doing it with skill, but they're using speed to clear the jump more
Yes,
than using
thank you.
technique to clear the jump.
Right.
Thank you.
So that's where, like, when I do jumping lessons and stuff, kind of, I mean, unless we're already kind of spicy and I've ridden with you, like pretty
Mhm.
much all of my jump lessons, we start at it's gonna be a weird one, but the praying mantis tabletop across from Masterpiece, the very bottom of Slaughter Pin. It's like super tiny.
Okay.
That's
yeah,
where
yeah.
I take everybody for their first intro to jumping, to just kind of break the technique down. And then after we kind of get that going, then we'll go to kind of 3-pack is usually another spot that we'll go to. And it's, all right, can we clear these jumps on 3-pack?
Mhm.
Cool. And then the next step is, can you clear these jumps on 3-pack with no pedaling? And that's usually where we kind of, people can clear the jumps, but then we get to a point where it's like, all right, now I have to take a pedal. And so that's where I usually try to step people back and be like, well, why do we need to take a pedal? Is it, you know,
Dude,
it's
I
because
love
we're not
that.
landing better,
Yeah.
or we need to generate more speed on the pump, or we
Yeah.
need to put more input on the takeoff. And so that's, I guess, like, I kind of always have the mantra of like through the coaching stuff is like, I try to like teach a man to fish, not kind of give you an instant gratification of, hey, you just paid me money,
Here's some
and I
fish.
just got you to clear the tabletop on 3-pack, like, see you
Yeah.
later. Like, I want you ramping forever. And I, you
Right.
know, and
Yep.
I always tell people, like, I can't ride bikes with you every time. It would be awesome if I could, but
You need to know all these things.
This is what you need to know so that you can do what you want when you're on your own. And
Real quick, if people want to reach out to you, can they go to your website here and reach you via this?
we definitely can do the website. It's the email address is betterbikingnwa@gmail.com. You could also reach out to me on Instagram, the Bobby Rides Bikes. I have Sam Parks who wants my hat. Maybe that's what I need to give him as my hat, and we'll get our website fully
There
dialed
we
in.
go, Sam.
But yeah,
we
Sam,
got you a job, buddy.
Yeah.
Sam's helping me get that stuff dialed in, and so I'm really right now I'm kind of doing some behind the scenes stuff to make a bigger push in the springtime. I might have some stuff that happens over the wintertime, but that's kind of what I've been gearing up for, is because I coach for Thaden, and
I know, yeah, I
they
saw
have
that.
skills park, and they have like a kind of a dirt skills loop on campus there.
Yes.
So it's, you know, Velo Solutions track, an actual kind of dirt, kind of cross country type trail with a little bit of features. and then they have, you know, bathrooms, and
Yeah.
so it'd be a pretty ideal spot to kind of start doing
Oh,
some
cool.
clinics. And
Yeah.
Right on. That's cool.
so that's kind of where I'm, like I said, stacking my chips for some of that in the springtime. And then I clinics are fun and they're cool, and it's definitely not bad, but I like to do the private, like, one-on-one stuff because
Sure.
it's more, it fills my bucket more, you know. It's
Right.
Totally.
but
Totally.
it's definitely, like, for business,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a good income generator to do
Well,
the clinics and stuff too.
And also too, I was kind of thinking about, you know, if people get, I kind of love the network thing that you got going here, because you can, well, one, set them up with a bike at YT, get them on a proper bike, if they don't have one,
For sure.
you know, and then you can go do a session with them and get them riding good, and then once they've ridden enough to where they can kind of hold their own, you can invite them to one of the hangtime rides.
There you go. Yeah.
And it's like this cycle that keeps them, it kind of shows them like a bit of culture, and you're kind
Yep.
of like the you know, the sensei along the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the first one that came to mind.
No, I do. When I used to work on the sales floor at the bike shop and stuff, I would always tell people, like, I'm like your spiritual guide on your journey of biking. Like, I'm not the one sitting on the seat. That's you. You know, it's like I'm not, because I think the bike industry is so guilty.
You're Pi May, dude.
Well,
You are the Pi May of NWA bike coaching.
Yeah.
Dude.
But you know, there's just a lot of people live in boxes, and I don't know if just that type of people kind of are gravitate to the cycling industry, but there's a lot of, like, you need 25 psi and you need this, and this bike only rides this, and
Right.
to me, I'm just like, man, how can you say that to somebody? It's like, that's just crazy talk. And
Well, I appreciate that viewpoint also, because if anybody knows me, they know that I get on my bike and I ride it, and that's kind of my setup.
I mean, there are
the bike
definitely
that I ride.
Those are the heroes for sure, that they'll ride any bike. It'll sound
Right.
like a drawer full of change just jangling down the trail, but
that would be me.
and
I'm
that's
trying
totally cool.
to get where he's at by just squeezing my tires and go.
That's what I do.
I
Yeah.
still, though, you know, I think
Right.
that it's like such a wild, like, you know, mountain biking in general. So you roll up to the castle at Bentonville and you go to the top. Never seen anyone ride before. You've never ridden before. You don't know what to expect. And if
Sure.
you just kind of did a look of the land, there's, like, it would be intimidating, because, you know,
Sure.
9 out
Sure.
of 10 people there are going to have, like, a super crazy dope bike. They're gonna have all of the gear. They're gonna look like, oh man, these people do it. And
some guy busts out like a digital gauge up there just checking his stuff. And the guy's like, I don't have a digital gauge.
to me, that still is cool. Like, if that's like, and you could not even be able to ride the green line and have the nice bike and have the nice gear, and like, if that's how you do biking, like, hell yeah, like that's awesome. You don't have to shred to have a nice bike. You don't have to shred to have the nice gear. You don't have to have the nice bike to shred. You don't have to have the nice gear to shred. It's kind of the I always break down to it's the artist, not the paintbrush, sort of, you know.
Love it. Yep.
When I
use
get
that one a lot.
I get the crazy gravel bike videos or whatever, and like, oh, you got to have this type of bike to ride this type of trail. And I was like, well, I've definitely ridden down Dragon Scales or Lone Wolf on some gravel bike before.
Your gravel bike videos, I swear. Do you do TikTok at all?
I've tried.
Dude,
I don't know. I think I'm getting too old now to know about all the things and do all of it.
I'll break the news to you.
It's entertaining. It's entertaining to watch, but to like actually contribute to it, I can't do it.
But I was just gonna say that, like, something like your gravel videos, like, would go viral on TikTok. You know, because that's like I feel like the platform for something like that.
I had a few that I posted on Reddit that got, you know, crazy
Reddit,
views and
on like
stuff
gravel pages.
But then I don't know, and then it's like, should probably look at the comments, but then it's just like hundreds of comments of like, get a
what
dropper
an idiot.
post. Yeah. My back hurts and get a dropper post are the two highest comments.
Oh, jeez. I love it.
I said my back hurts
watching it.
Yeah. Oh man.
But no, it's cool because it's just like something different and stands out, and you know, I know you're just it plays into what we just talked about. It's like it's not the paintbrush, it's the artist.
Well, I think I get on the gravel bike and do the stuff that I do because I can't scratch my BMX itch here in Bentonville like I could in other places. And so it makes me like look at the trail differently, and it makes me like have to session a spot. Like taking my gravel bike on Here's Johnny, and like I'm not clearing everything. Like there's no way. And but I'm going for it until I'm like, all right, I'm either going to break my bike or it's like, all right, it's time to move on. And some of them you still are chasing that dragon. Some of them like I've got where I'm just like, oh, I can't believe I just made it up that. And you just kind of keep going. And, but yeah, I guess it just helps, exercise my brain. And like you're looking at a spot on a BMX bike, it's what trick can I do on this spot in what appropriate way? Like I still have fun riding this stuff around here, but it's hard to ride street in a small community, especially if you are, trying to like have a business in the small community that involves bikes. So
there's that, but then there's also like one of the things I've had this complaint about Northwest Arkansas and the shred culture is that people care about their property here, and if you find really good spots in metro areas, it's usually like property that people don't care about.
Yeah.
But it made for a good skate spot, and then people can post up there and skate there, or ride there. And for Northwest Arkansas, the value of all property here is so high. You feel like bad almost, like you're like, I can't grind this thing. It's like fresh painted, whatever you want to hit it, But like I that's where I do feel like having Gnarkansas as a and being a representative of the company, it's like being the dude out there like, oh, I'm just gonna scratch this rail you just paid $3,000 for.
And I definitely still and that's now how I'm kind of looking through the street riding lens with my BMX bike is like, where can I go that is going to be like okay, some of it's like the mountain bike spots we can share, some of it is like there's just the one rail that's there.
The one rail.
Somebody most definitely owns this property, but it's probably about to get plowed and have some sort of multiplex built on it.
And you
so
can
trying
hit that.
Hit those, catch that while I can. And but I was never a big street dude anyways. I like to ride big bowls and big jumps, and we just don't have big bowls or big jumps here.
Yeah. Exactly. What how do you feel about the hauler?
Good segue. So there's been a lot of talk. One of the homies that works at the mill recently just took a trip to Whistler, and he ended up riding all kinds of dirt jumps, and like he's a pretty decent rider, and was able to like hit all these jumps, and he came back with just like we gotta have some dirt jumps, dude. Imagine just getting off of work and going and riding dirt jumps all night. And I'm like, yes, dude, I can imagine that.
I can imagine that. Right.
So he's been super fired up about the scene, and then he's been trying to get in touch with some kind of key people in the scene, and then like he has a meeting on Monday, so I don't want to like put anything too on blast because I don't know what is official and what is not.
It's gonna come.
He's super stoked on it. He's trying to generate enough people who want to come down there and support it.
Sure.
Because it's a spot like that. It's my grandma always told me, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I'm trying to figure out.
And if you don't have anything.
Well, I think it's like that spot was given to the community
Sure.
Under the guise of like, here's the spot, build everything. But
Yeah.
at that first meeting, they had a jump that was built there by a select people who were told, hey, build a jump here so that we can show people we want to build jumps here. So they inadvertently gave ownership of the spot to a certain amount of people before they gave ownership to everyone of the spot. So trail drama is so real. I can't even tell you. It's trail drama.
Okay.
The trail drama.
I didn't know we were cracking into it.
Instantly kind of hit to where this crew didn't want to go down because this crew was the one who was doing this and this. And
sure.
But like all trail drama, there's the ones who are going to say what they're going to do, and then there are the ones that are going to go down there and do what they're going to do. And so there's a pretty decent crew of dudes down there now. Shout out to this dude Chris. There's some other kid that I have not met yet who goes to U of A, but he's been going.
Is it Chris Crane?
No, Chris Crone. He's the dude that's building the skills park. This dude, now I can't think of his last name. He's from like Alabama or Mississippi or something. He's another OG BMX dude that's been around trails, and like he's like a quintessential BMX trail dude where it's like he has a hammock at the trails where he's just going to work on the trails and then take a nap and probably not ride the trails and then come back the next day and work on the trails. Like that's dudes like that. That's what they love to do.
We do need people like that in the scene. They have to exist.
For sure.
Yep.
So he's been down there. And then, like I said, there's been a decent crew that have been down there contributing to the spot. And then the tornado, when it came through, there was a lot of water that was in that storm. So the very first lip of the whole entire line completely not only did it wash away, but there was like a ravine that was like 3 feet deep of where that lip used to stand.
Yeah.
So they've kind of got all that stuff built back up, and
but didn't that rebuild help kind of in a good way, that change?
I think it's pushing stuff in that direction, and then so I think that it's what ended up happening was everybody was kind of working off what was originally built there instead of kind of starting fresh. And so that very first set, I don't know if you guys have been down there, but on a couple of those first dig days, it was like we had one lip and one landing, and then it turned into like 16 lips and 16 different landings to like, well, we could go this way and we could go but there was no real like trail boss or leadership down there to say, let's build one line before we build A, B, C, D, E, F, G lines off of the one line. And so that kind of made things go a little crazy. And so now they have that kind of leadership. They have the kind of understanding with the crew of like, all right, this is the direction that we're going. This is the style of jumps that we're going to build for this line. We're building it. And so I think that in order for that scene and that spot to kind of keep flourishing, the jumps that are down there now are tilting on the side of spicier than not. Yes. And so you're going to get a lot of people who are like, well, I can't jump the stuff that's down there, so why should I go and help you? And so that's where now hopefully there will be more like different lines built. And then I'm a big advocate for like a straight up dirt pump track that like kids can ride,
flow.
But if you're spicy, you can do some spicy things on.
Right.
Like I think there's a lack of shapes in the dirt that's in Bentonville. You know, we have the classic tabletops, we have the classic rollers, we have berms, but like you can't even name what someone builds. It's just a shape, you know. And so a pump track full of shapes would be awesome to like help build skill, and then having more of like a chill line. So the trails that I rode out in Austin, one of the lines that would always get untarped and session the heaviest was not the hardest line, not the craziest line that was there. It was the line that everybody likes to either warm up on or everyone likes to ride all day. Yeah. And so that's another, you know, you need to have kind of the pump track, warm up spot, squirrel catcher, something that the dads can come down and let their kids play around on the pump track while they ride the dad jumps.
The dad jumps.
Right.
So I think that it's, you know, there's now starting to be within the community and within that group that's down there some, I guess, discussion and direction of, you know, where they want to go. And
there needs to be some sort of like master plan and someone that is trying to keep everybody on track for that plan, not to adhere to exact plan, but just like, hey, here's the vision, we need to get there, and you know, here's how we do it.
And it has to kind of be somebody who is like going to be down there, and somebody that everyone who goes down there kind of respects also. Like you said, I'm old, like I'm not that dude anymore, you know. Like I'm all about going down and sweeping and watering and helping, and but I don't have the time to invest in a spot to like build a spot up from the ground up. That's the young people job, you know. Of like you're living it, you're loving it, like that's a perfect spot to thrive in. And I do think that it will continue to keep getting better. I'm super optimistic about it.
There we go.
And
high hopes.
I do think it's going to be good. You know? So
it sounds like the right people are behind it.
It's definitely seemed like it's picked up steam, especially post tornado, which is, you know, kind of what's been making things slow down in a lot of spots. So it's cool to see they're still chugging along.
You mentioned this new spot that may or may not be coming. Stuff like that just helps the other spot, because what ends up happening is people get bored with a spot and they want to like bounce back and forth. And when you give more opportunity for more spots and more space, the pool gets bigger for sure. And I feel like that's going to help. Like even when the skate park comes, like we're going to see some of that. That's going to be some of the perpetual growth to the jump side of biking around here.
I hope so, dude. I really do. Because it's, I mean, you look at all these other communities, like Frisco Adventure Park has a crazy sick dirt jump spot.
Remind me where this is.
Frisco. It's like Summit, Colorado. It's Colorado. Like Summit County, Colorado.
Yeah, Frisco. Yeah,
right along the highway.
Christian Peppers, he always posts videos from there.
For sure. Yeah, it's so one of my homies, Cody, who I met in Rochester, he's the dude. He moved out there, and he lives in Breckenridge, and that's his deal. It's the Jump Doctors is his like construction building company, and he's that's their spot is with the city is like we
so
keep
are they
this
like
running, and
they're like the contractors, like the maintenance.
I don't know
contract,
if it's
maybe?
now has grown, like, because I haven't been there in like 10 years, but
Okay.
when I was there 10 years ago, he was just the city dude that's like his job.
He worked for the city.
and, and just made the dirt jumps work. But then
That
they got
reminds
to
me
us,
of Ted.
It's I mean basically he's a Ted out there, but he was able to take their jumps and then figure out what worked, and then they kind of like covered it with like a dirt glue, so then it made it super resistant to erosion. So then there was less maintenance on the existing set of jumps, so then they built more jumps, and I mean, when I look at what's there now compared to when I was there 10 years ago, that same big line on the left has always kind of been there, but now there's
all the other
6 different lines. Like what we talked about at the hollow spot, where it was like all of these intersections go to
spider
all
webbing
of the lines, and that's because they don't have to worry about maintaining and keeping jumps running. They build
more,
make it work,
lock it in,
doom, it's done. Yep. And then another one. And
speaking of Ted, I'm sure he would have loved to do that so rail yard used to be dirt.
Yeah,
were you here when it was dirt?
Not. I always heard that it was the kind of local joke to where it was like, oh yeah, I gotta ride the rail yard today. I'll see you guys at the session next year when it's dry.
Yeah, because it was it was
thought that way either.
Well, it was
always wet.
It was either wet or dusty, one of the two.
But I think he was like he was the one dude.
He was the one dude. No, and when you have like an entire park, and he was also, it wasn't his only task.
Yeah,
he had other like jobs. And it's like, man, and I could see where the cards were like stacked up against him, and maintenance costs and stuff like that. And then you're advocating for some sort of semi-permanent solution, which some sort of glue would be great. Instead, we get a Velo Solutions,
which is I still appreciate that.
I ride it all the time. I ride it all the time.
I mean, dirt is dirt. Dirt will always be dirt, but ramps are also always sweet. So
I'm a fan of the rail yard. I like the rail yard.
Hey man, even the Lake Atalanta trails, the first time I ever went out there was just recently with Jason.
And he maintains those.
There's some cool spots out there, but they're just not no love. You know what I mean? But
and it's just because he spreads so thin.
Right.
There's only so much a man can do.
Yeah,
and then you do need a crew,
but
for sure.
You can add some stuff, clean it up, and make it really fun. Yeah,
every once in a while he'll get out there and he'll doctor up that top line, the jump line up there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really do wish we had a dirt park.
I hope, but like you said, it's hard, and maybe this is another touchy subject, but it's hard. Like, so you go into like slaughter pen on a Saturday, and you go to the skills park, and you watch the average people that go through, or not the average people, but like the majority of the people that go through, no problem.
Yeah,
there's a select people that go through that, because of the accessibility and it's right there, and because of all the hype of the trails and all that, sometimes it puts people in a spot that maybe they shouldn't be at that spot.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That's what is a big kind of what holds us back. Like I hear, there's all the rumors of like so and so did this and got hurt, and this person saw it, and that made this person not want to do any more investing into this. It all connects back, and I think that it's the kind of like what you said, like you need to have something to like when people get bored with something, like right now at the skills park, I think that the new intermediate line that's built is super awesome. The jumps are totally jumpable, but it's way faster running than like the jumps in 3-pack. And so there are people who can clear the jumps, but they're not quite ready with controlling their speed, and so some of the situations like that have resulted in going over the back of the berm, and
you get into a hairy situation.
That's the toughest part about that is that when I first went there, I was at, what are they like? And I was like, kind of like Huntley's, like you don't need any speed. And cool around the house because you just
We're back.
We're back.
We're back. I don't know. This crazy computer stuff.
It's interneting.
We are very much interneting and doing some high computering. So, but we're back.
So we're back. So anyways, man, I hear you got some cool events going on.
There is. It is October in Bentonville, which is the crazy time for sure. It seems like it's back to back events and all that. But the first one I for sure want to put on everybody's radar, especially who listens to this podcast. They're doing a Rampage viewing party at the YT Mill in Bentonville on Saturday. I think
what time?
Right, 11.
I have my notes.
Okay.
Hold on, since I don't have technology to have notes on it
There
anymore.
we go.
Got old school. Yeah. Starts at 11. They're doing giveaways. They're gonna have pizza. They're gonna have adult beverages.
Nice.
What else we got on here? I was also told Jack Carnes, he said to leave the beef at home. That's the YT guy.
Leave the beef.
Leave the beef for Mr. Carnes. But yeah, it's going to be just like a Red Bull celebration of Rampage. It's not like go to YT and root for the YT guys. It's
just
come
a
and
chill
party.
spot.
But if you want to root for the YT guys,
BMA is sick for sure. But
Right.
there's going to be a couple of guys on that that are going to be pretty spicy.
oh yeah.
I'm
was
psyched
actually
to see it all.
I was just talking about Adolf Silva.
Yes.
And dude, his line is just so
They're wild.
shred.
They're
Carson Storch's line looks pretty dope. Man, who else? Who's on your radar?
Semenuk, because
Semenuk,
he does
yep.
all of the wild stuff. And
He does the jumping.
He does. I mean, I've already seen him. He drops in and lands in a manual, and then
So
off
dope.
bar. He does
Off the
like
bar
BMX
spin.
lines down the mountain. That's pretty dope.
Honestly, the fact that he does like cable routing, you're like, all right, we're gonna see bar spins.
Yeah, you knew
we're gonna
something
see
coming.
we're gonna see tail whips.
for
it's
sure.
going down.
That's cool.
But so that's
Yep.
kind of that's just going to be a fun party, and then that's going to kick into the Little Sugar, Big Sugar kind of gravel bike and mountain bike race week in Bentonville. They're calling it Bike Industry Week or something. I've been seeing on social media too. But so Monday night is if you want to go to downtown Bentonville, Visit Bentonville is for sure going to have all the info and like on the times and stuff like that. But they're doing like a parade for all of the Olympian athletes. Oh man, who are some of the people that are going to be there? They're all XC people. I'm sorry, XC family. Christopher Blevins is going to be down there, and then the woman who won the silver medal, Haley Batten, she's going to be down there. Some riders that are on the U.S. national team are going to be there. I think it's just like Bentonville investing into Team USA, and this is kind of like Team USA's way to like say, hey, thanks, and we're here, and we're doing stuff here in Bentonville now. And so that's Monday night. Then I'm stoked for this one for Tuesday. So they're calling this Thunderdome Thriller, and it's Nat Ross and a couple of guys are hosting a dual slalom race at Thunderdome. So it's going to be somewhat like they're trying to go for the classic like Thunderdome throwdown vibe. So Skirt is going to be there. Hopefully he'll be the one that's on the microphone. I feel like he's the only one that should ever have a microphone at
I think he just
Thunderdome event.
I think the microphone just floats to him.
It does. He
doesn't have to actually do anything.
But so that is going to be starting at 3:00 is when they're going to start having the official course open, even though it's just Thunderdome, so you can go and ride it whenever. But I think 5:00 might be when their official race time is starting, but it's going to be a one and done, so not best of 3 races like they normally do at Throwdown. It's just a one and a done, because there probably going to be a lot of people down there, and it gets dark at about 7. But so that's
time management.
Tuesday at Thunderdome from 3:00 until dark. That's where the party's going to be at, and then Wednesday, that's when People for Bikes NWA, Women of Oz, and Visit Bentonville, they're doing that Rise Summit, which is like basically it's got a lot of like panels and guest speakers, and it's I guess the best way to put it is about like women who have leadership roles in the cycling industry and kind of how to continue that and to support that, grow that. So that will be Wednesday, and then Women of Oz is doing a fundraiser at the YT Mill that night that they're selling tickets to. So you can go to Women of Oz and support them if you want to. That'll be on Wednesday night. And then I don't know. I think they have something every night. I don't know what's Thursday and Friday, but then that next weekend is the big gravel race. So that's when there's all the
The
Red Bull
sugar,
people.
sugar thing?
Yeah, the gravel race is the Lifetime Grand Prix affiliated event. So there's for sure going to be like Red Bull helmets and full. I mean, I think the total pro purse might be like $100,000 for the whole entire race. Or
What?
it's something really, really crazy.
That's ridiculous.
But you have to for the whole Lifetime Grand Prix. This is totally not my realm of cycling to talk about. I don't know much about it, but I know that they do gravel races and mountain bike races. And, but that's, the big long one. So that'll be cool. I think that's it's cool to go and cheer on and check that stuff out. I mean, even if it's not, like you said, I'm not a 100-mile gravel racer or a 60-mile mountain bike single track racer by any means. I don't.
Right.
If I ever am, give me the mental health check and check in on me. But I think it's awesome. And like I said, if that's how you ride bikes and that's your way of doing it, like hell yeah, that's awesome.
Go for it.
I'll come and yell at you while you ride by me.
I want to get out there and mingle. I get my cast off on Monday, but I'll be in a boot, but I'll be more functional at least. Right now, I've just been. No weight bearing, nothing. So definitely an itching to at least
I lived that life. Did I feel you? I know.
Dude, all you need is a gravel bike, and you can get back on it soon.
Dude, actually, this is totally a plug. But if I wouldn't have had my Nargo when I broke my foot last summer, I would have went insane. Like
there you go, Nargo.
I legit when it happened because I shattered my heel at the rail yard last summer, and so it was not a good one.
Well, my girlfriend's already talking about those because we like to ride our bikes with our dogs. Dude, and we have the little trailer things. And we have over 4,000 miles on mine, and it's not even 2 years old yet. And we have one car, and I take my kid to daycare, and then I ride it to YT when I go to work, and then pick him up and go home. And
that's cool.
Nothing is better than cruising past the super long line of traffic of cars just backed up on 8th Street. Oh my God. I can't even tell you like how stressed and pissed you get when you get into that line of cars. I'm on the complete opposite side. And I just feel better and better and better the more I ride by.
Yes.
So it's
in your home like an hour before them.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. I've made it from my house to YT in 8 minutes before, and we live like maybe 4 miles away from there. And
nice.
Oh, sweet.
But I originally built that bike up when I worked at Allied and Rogers, and I commuted there every morning at like 5 in the morning. And I built the bike in December, so I rode all of winter. The first 200 miles on that bike, I didn't have a back brake on it because we were still rigging up the mount.
Oh, geez.
Nice.
But I couldn't not ride it, and it was so awesome.
I really feel like you're a true advocate for Nargo because like your bike really stands out. Like that frame paint job.
Thanks.
No,
I think it's dope.
She brought it up, and I was like, "Oh, my homie Bobby has one. He's always puts his rakes and stuff when he's cleaning up on the trails, and he's heading out. And I've seen him with his kids on it.
Yeah, and, a little bit of everything.
We've hauled. I mean, I can fit both my kids on there, and
that's awesome.
We got a new platform that we're dialing in right now. John, their welder down there, is making it to where it's going to be a little bit longer, and then it's going to have like a backrest on it. And so my 10-year-old, he's pretty tall, and
he's kind of over it.
He'll lean back and he'll push into the handlebars, and he doesn't realize it because he's relaxing,
and
then
it straightens you out.
Yeah, all of a sudden we're like locked in, and I'm like, dude, we
need to turn.
We just need dog friendly ones. That's all.
They
got them.
They
yeah, they got them. Yeah.
But yeah, that was my without the Nargo, I would have went insane. I put, because that was Cycle September when I had my boot and all that stuff still, and I rode I think 450 miles in September last year, and I still had a broken foot.
That's crazy.
Oh, I'm gonna be on a bike as soon as I can, even if it's just pedaling on concrete.
Well, so how do you think you're gonna feel by November 2nd?
I don't think I have my phase 1. Yeah, it's like it's 6 months to a year.
Oh dang. Well then, you're gonna be hanging on the sidelines with us. So this is my last event.
Mm-hmm.
This is a sneaky one. So I've been kind of doing some behind the scenes stuff. We got approval from the city and all that. So we're gonna host, and by we, Bentonville Hangtime and me, basically. We're gonna host a Halloween jam at the Skills Park on November 2nd. So it's gonna be a costume themed jam where we just kind of want to try to have a bike party. Everybody come and hang out and come for the party, stay for the bike riding sort of a thing. And yeah, there it was. That was my
I got you.
Like
I got you all set up.
Google search some ghost on a bike.
Ghost on bike.
That's how good I
You
am
could
at graphic
probably
design right
you could
there.
probably
Google.
AI generate this one.
Oh man,
I
I'm
think.
not even good at AI, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm
you just
barely
tell
good
it.
at Googling.
You just
so.
talk to it. Just
But
it'd
yeah,
be
so
alright.
that's basically so 9th Street, the trails in Austin, they've had Halloween jams for, I don't even know. It says 69th annual on their flyer for this year, which I think it said for like the last 3 years. But
it's always the 69th. Yeah.
they've been doing them for forever, and it was just so fun to go down there, and it turned into like, it was kind of like the class reunion of 9th Street, because 9th Street's old enough that it's over 30 years old now. So it's like every Halloween jam, you would see all of these different dudes and people would show up with their families, and it just turned into like the people who just all they want to do is ride.
Yeah.
They ride, and then everybody else just hangs out, and
yeah,
it's just so fun. And I've wanted to do a Halloween jam since we've moved here, and there used to be a group dude organization, I don't know whatever you want to call it, but that used to kind of host some jams,
Mhm.
and kind of faded away, and now it's like, all right, like there's nobody really doing anything. The
Yeah.
Hangtime rides this year really popped off, and so it's like, all right, it seems like everybody's super stoked on riding this sort of stuff. Everybody's super stoked on just hanging out together, and
yeah.
so we're just going to go down there, and we'll do the normal jam stuff. So like on that last tabletop in the intermediate line, we'll do the classic like best trick, probably jam for a little bit, but then I want to do some different stuff, because there's always at every Bentonville thing, there's a best trick and a best whip. And I'm sorry, you guys, bless everyone's heart, but nobody does whips here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're not going to have a whip contest until everybody learns how to do whips, but we're going to have best trick, and then we're going to have a high jump. So I don't know if we're just going to have
A
somebody
hand.
standing there and
Yeah.
looking, or if we'll concoct something. But so best trick, a high jump, and then I've been seeing a lot of people getting real spicy on the lannuals. So jump the jump and land in a manual. And we're just going to do longest lannual off of that, because there's the 4 rollers, and then there's a berm, or you could dodge the berm and keep going.
Pull it straight
Uh-huh.
through.
So yeah, I think that'll be a fun one to.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Just something different. It's going to be for sure. The lannual contest is probably not going to be as many people, but I think
Dude, that's
it will
hard.
be more.
I've tried it so many
I can
times.
maybe
I
get
can't
to the
do it.
roller,
Yeah.
but once we get to the
Yeah.
rollers, I'm
But
definitely
there's some
out.
solid dudes out there. I've
Oh,
seen
yeah,
for
it
sure.
There's
happens,
that
yeah.
young homie Declan,
Declan.
Hammerstone.
Declan.
He can
Declan,
manual probably all the way
He'll
to
probably
Ballas,
win it. Yeah,
I-
he'll probably
I,
win it.
I hope that he either does show up and throw it down, or I hope that somebody gives him a run for his money. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then you get to say, "Hey, Declan, dude, he's got the crown." So
He'll work for it. Declan,
Yeah.
he's definitely he works. He works.
he
for it.
works for stuff. Yeah.
So that will be kind of the on the bike side of things. But I also want to do, like best costume. So like best costume for a dude, best costume for a woman, best youth costume, and then also like a best group costume. So if you come as like the Ghostbusters or whatever, and so the group would win.
Oh, gotcha.
And then best bike costume. There was always this one dude in Austin. Every Halloween jam, he would make his bike look like something. Like one year it was like a mermaid. It was a dolphin, and he was a mermaid for his costume. Another year he made it into a pirate ship, and he was a pirate. And so I just want to see some creative costumes for bikes, creative costumes for riders, and we just want to go down there and have fun. Because I broke my phone this week, I'm behind on my communicating with people, but right now it sounds like YT is going to be down there in some fashion. If all the stars align, ideally we'll have them down there, and the homie Jeff and Justice will be on the grill and cranking out some food for people.
Right on.
I talked to Doug at Bomb Squad Centers Union. Hopefully he's going to be able to make it down. The dude that's the manager of the hub, his kid goes to my kid's daycare, and I popped in there today. I was like, yo, dude, like, can you guys help out with anything?
What do you think?
He said he can do some gift cards, and so I'm trying to just get some prizes for the people that win the on the bike contest.
Oh, cool.
But also, like, if you win the best costume contest, hopefully you'll be able to walk away with some sort of swag. Fox also, Kyle, the manager of the Fox store, I popped in there today too, and also Pablo's the other homie that works in there. Pablo's
Pablo.
OG homie.
Yep.
They're gonna hopefully be able to be down there, but also hopefully be able to load us up on some stuff.
Yeah.
He He has a secret stash that he's already got going on, but he said his boss is coming in, so hopefully his
the boss might
isn't
see the
listening
stash.
to this podcast right now.
So
Sorry,
it's November
sorry,
2nd, right?
November
Yeah.
2nd. So it's the first Saturday after Halloween. It's also Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
I have a name somewhat tentatively figured out, but we're gonna put it on blast on the Hangtime Instagram and kind of start hyping it up. But
Right.
this will be our first official release of the Halloween Jam Slaughter Pen, November 2nd. And I guess also, so the jam is all going to be in the afternoon, probably about 1 o'clock is usually when we'll kick stuff like that off. But I also want to do a how-to clinic on how to take care of the trails in the morning. So about 10 o'clock, I'm going to have people come out and basically show them like, hey, we have a hose down here. We have all these tools down here. So show people how to sweep, how to water. That's like part of the normal dirt jump culture, especially in Texas, is like anytime you're about to ride jumps, you sweep them,
everything.
you water them, you re-sweep them. That makes them run really awesome. It also makes them run better for a longer period of time when you're riding jumps with moisture, as opposed to and I know it's going to be an uphill battle at Slaughter Pen, because there's no way that everybody is going to sleep in water every time. But like I said, just trying to like create a little bit more of that culture and just kind of share some of that knowledge of it's not that hard to do. If you showed up with like 5 people at the skills park, it would probably take 20 minutes to sweep and water the whole entire intermediate line, and then it's going to ride better. So why would you not at that point?
And even if worst case scenario, it just creates like a consideration for trails. You know, we all just ride trails and don't think twice about what we're doing to them. So
for sure.
A lot of times
there's a lot of people that have ridden mountain bikes for a long time, and if you've been in a part of the scene for long enough, you know that these trails just didn't appear. You know, somebody had to build them, and somebody has to maintain them, and so then people kind of start feeling obligated to become invested in the trail system. And so Trailblazers did their like TAP program, which I don't know if that's still happening, or we're about to be unrolling some new program where they're having like section leaders. Was kind of the last kind of email that I got, which if it still keeps going as planned, like I would be the skills park section leader. And so when we need dig days, I'll be the one that kind of facilitates the digs days. And I tell Trailblazers like, hey, we need 5 more brooms today. We need an extra 20 feet of hose or whatever it is. And but just to, you know, because if we want to have more people that go to the holler to ride the dirt jump spot, like that's a perfect spot for people to kind of gain that knowledge of how to work on stuff, as well as how to gain the knowledge of how to ride that stuff, and be
in an environment that people are doing that. So you're you're exposed to that.
For
like
sure.
You're talking about being exposed to the culture.
Yeah, like people don't know how to do it, because that's my spot that I adopted, was the skills park, and so I go down there. I definitely, before the tornado, was down there a lot more, and that was also before I was really working at YT as much as I was, but just went down there and just tried to keep it running smooth, basically, and people would just be like, you know, when you're sweeping dust on a dirt trail, to people who have never seen that before, it's
confusing.
Yeah,
you don't really know.
I get a lot
seeing.
of looks for sure. But then you sweep all the dirt away, and then you spray the water down and sweep that silt kind of back over that wet dirt. It fills all the cracks, and then when you start riding on it, that's when, like in the BMX world, we call it the blue groove. But like after, I feel like Black Apple Creek and Slaughter Pen is always the perfect example of a blue groove. Like by like end of February, March, after we've had a whole winter of moisture,
it's
and
like
a million tires a day. There's like literally a black strip on the dirt, and that's from everybody riding it in like it's supposed to. And so if we could ever get to the point where we have blue grooves on the trails at Skills Park, then mission complete. You know, that means that it's working. And
that's a good point.
That's kind of what we're trying to do, is just like, you know, build the base of the pyramid. That's the only way that the dirt jump scene is going to grow and thrive, is if you keep bringing more people into the fold and sharing knowledge. And that's, you know, instead of keeping like, this is mine, you can't come here, it's hey, like everybody can come here, and this is how it works.
This is how we do it.
Yeah, exactly. This is the do's, the don'ts, and it's pretty easy to take care of stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's kind of like what you were talking about when you go to other areas and you were exposed there and brought that culture. Sometimes that people can come here, see this, because I think that already happens. I think people come here and see biking,
go back home and have a new perspective,
and they take what they see here back to their place. So if they were like, hey man, you know, like there's a guy there and this is crazy. He just works on it. You know, like
all day. That's all he
Yeah.
does.
yeah, like that would be a foreign thought to somebody that like doesn't have anything in their scene at all, you know. So like, you know, I think of you in your small town where you were like, man, it's just me and my homie, you know, and then eventually like a scene starts to develop. You start to like develop roles or whatever that is, you know, like that's how the scene comes up in that area.
Yeah.
And man, it's just so cool to like spread that or be a part of spreading that, even if you're not the sole like dude.
Right.
You know,
I just think bikes are tight. That's
bikes
how to do it. You know, get everybody into it, share as much as you can, and keep people stoked.
dude. That might be the ribbon on this episode. Bikes are tight.
Bikes are tight. Bikes are tight.
Bikes are
Bikes
tight.
are tight.
Well, dude, yeah, I think we had a pretty healthy episode. We had a technical difficulty. It's perfect for the first episode of our show. Thank you for bringing that on.
I feel like I do that all the time. So
well, you came in with directions on paper, so
definitely printed directions on paper.
You obviously have something against technology.
It's just
You made
technology. It has something against me. I think that's right.
You've made technology
Technology
mad. You did something.
For sure.
Well, me and technology don't go good together either. I usually have issues.
Well,
That's the way it
let's
goes.
keep them out of the studio, gents. But
We'll do.
thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by. If you want to check out more stuff, Bobby Rides Bikes on Instagram, Better Biking NWA, Bentonville Hangtime, the Thaden Cycling for that side of stuff, and YT Mill.
The YT Mill Bentonville also.
Yep.
Shout out to the Bill for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So man,
Doing a lot of stuff, man. We
Trying.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, hell yeah.
staying busy.
We'll see you guys out on the trails.
Oh,
Yeah.
we will. I'm back on bike, so like I'm gonna start, coming back to heckle.
Heck yeah.
People hear my bike jingling down the trail. I don't need a bell.
Heck yeah.
I
That's
That's
just
might
have
figure out this scooter and start doing
Just
tricks.
scooting down the-
I'm already trying to do tricks.
scooting
in the
down
house
the
with it,
trail.
so we'll see.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Appreciate it.
Right
Yep,
on.
thanks. See ya.
See ya.